There you go. Good job. Good job. Okay. Call the meeting to order for the county board. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Okay, it's working now. I'll call the meeting to order for the county board. Did everybody log in? Yep. Sandy Stanky is missing yet. She was here, I thought, wasn't she? No? Okay. Cell phones off then, please, too. And we'll take a minute then for silent meditation. And please remember all the people serving in the protective services and in the military. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Item number 3, approval of the minutes from June 24th. Motion by Randy Young, seconded by Marvin Klosterman. Is there any questions or comments? Deb?
Yes. At the tail end on the last page, 9 of 9, it says discussion ensued about the possibility of a different venue for the July County Board meeting. Wasn't discussion. I made a motion to suspend the rules.
Can you slip your mask off? Some of the gentlemen up front can't hear you.
That's bizarre. Everybody can always hear me. It mentions that there was discussion ensued about the possibility of a different venue for the county board meeting and suspension of the county board rules. It wasn't discussion. I made a motion. Whether you recognized it or not, I still made a motion. And we had to clarify it with Tony that it was in order to make said motion to suspend the rules. It didn't have to be on the agenda.
As I recall, there was a motion made, I don't think it was seconded.
No, but I still made a motion.
Right, so if you want to reflect the minutes to change to say that it was actually a motion made rather than discussion, I think that would be fair. Is that what you're after, Deb?
That's what I'm after.
Okay.
Because I'm not the enemy. I was just trying to give you leeway to be able to change things if you wanted to.
Right, I think that's, makes sense.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, all those, well, I guess we got to vote, correct?
You can just vote to accept it with that change.
Okay. Have a motion and a second then to accept the minutes as corrected. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Item number 4, public comment. Is there anyone wishing to speak? I was going to let you come up, Jan, when we actually get to the resolution itself. Is there, okay. Come on up front to the microphone, and I'm going to limit you to about 2 minutes. We want to keep things as short as possible with everybody in here. We got an important man here coming up too.
I just wanted to come here today and Nathan Martins, 311 East Richmond Street, Shawano. I just wanted to express my support for the Second Amendment resolution, which was discussed as future business at your June meeting, in which the minutes indicated would be on the agenda for the July meeting, which I notice is not on the agenda for this meeting. Would just be wondering why it wasn't carried over, but it's your meeting.
Simply because of the amount of the COVID. It will happen. Okay. The next item, number 5, motion to deviate. Motion by Kevin Conrad, second by Mark Boland. No discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, under the chairman's report, it'll be a little mixed up from what you got there because I added a few things. First, we'll take a short update from our health department, from Vicki.
Hello, Tom asked me to come and give you a brief update on COVID-19. So Shawano County right now has just over 240 cases. We had about 34 cases in the last 14 days, which is down from last week when we had 56 cases in the last 14 days. So it seems like the numbers are decreasing a little bit, and we're looking at additional pieces of data and surveillance information that we can use to kind of track things continually going forward. But we know that there are currently some local and regional testing shortages for COVID-19. There are various reasons for this, including like diversion of testing kits and shifting from free to, billable testing in order to make it sustainable. So there are a few caveats with the numbers going down that we don't know if we're just missing some of the folks that maybe should be tested. But we continue to plan for increasing testing in our community and seeking what we can do for day-to-day needs or for outbreaks as well. So if there were to be an outbreak at a particular place, who could assist us with testing? This will be important, I think, for when school starts, so that if students are going home sick, that they have ability to be tested, so that they can return to school at appropriate times if possible. So we do plan to do a county testing event in mid-September. We don't really have any finalized details for that yet, so I can't really share more, but it is hopefully coming in mid-September. Contact tracing has been going relatively well. Our staff have been working about 7 days a week now for 6 months, and so it's been very taxing, but we've gotten additional staff through a contracted agency to assist us with that. So we're currently in the process of increasing that. Right now we have 4 individuals who started last week, and we have 4 individuals starting next week that will be able to assist us with contact tracing. School planning has been going well. We've been meeting with the schools every week and discussing some of their concerns about when school starts and what to expect if there were to be a positive case within the school, or what to do with individuals who do end up being sick during the school day, how to remind individuals to stay home if they're sick. That's very important with all this, so stay home if you are sick. Our goals are, of course, to keep people in person as much as we possibly can, but the only way we can really be successful with that is if we keep, the spread of illness to as minimum as we can, which might mean, having quarantines for some students at some times. So we know the schools definitely have concerns about being able to keep students and staff safe, and so we want to assist them with that as much as we possibly can. Other than that, we continue with other planning, such as working with businesses and long-term care facilities, should they have outbreaks. And we're also updating our mass vaccination plans and our other pandemic plans based on lessons learned from COVID-19, and there have been a lot of them, so it's been interesting. But that's all I have for now. Thank you very much. Where do they go to get tested? They go to their healthcare provider, typically is what we recommend for individuals. There are certain healthcare providers, particularly in our area, that are doing testing. Others might say that they're not. And it just sort of depends on their situation. Right now, with some of the shortages, it's recommended that individuals who have either stronger symptoms or more intense symptoms be tested versus those who maybe just have a runny nose or something. They may not be tested, but we would still suggest that they stay home and away from others in the event that they could possibly have COVID-19. We know there are individuals who have had it that have been either mildly symptomatic or have had no symptoms, but yet there has been spread within households for those individuals. So it's important to get tested if you can, but with shortages, that becomes a little more challenging, so, yeah.
Speak into your mic, please.
Use your mic, Gene.
The reason I asked that question is that have an operation on her arms, but they wouldn't operate until she had the test. And she went to all the state medical stations in Shawano. Nobody would give it the test. She had to go all the way to Green Bay. And I was wondering why we don't have a place where everybody can come and get tested here in Shawano County.
Yes, and we do have testing options in Shawano County. The catch is, as we said, that if they're not symptomatic, it's a little bit of a lower priority for testing, so they may be sent away, so to speak. So typically, if someone is getting something such as a surgery, their healthcare system, whoever's going to see them, will often do the testing for them, but that again depends on availability and the circumstances at hand. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Jerry?
Vicki, question for you. Could you tell us how many active cases we have and how many have recovered, or what percentage has recovered of the active ones we've had?
Yeah, so that changes with time because of having, the 34 cases in the last 2 weeks. Typically, the last 2 weeks are going to be your cases that are most active. Now, you're going to have probably a little bit of overlap there. So our percentage now is probably, a little less than 20% are active. So most are, recovered and doing well. It just depends on if you, like when we were starting to have like 60 cases in 2 weeks, there was a point there where half of our cases were active. So it just sort of depends where you're at.
Okay, is that it, Jerry?
Yes.
Mark Boland?
Vicki, in regards to the schools, so they have tiered, color-coded when they're going to shut down, or they're different learning models. Are you working on a map to show where these cases are showing up? Because to shut the Shawano schools down because the cases are high in the Pulaski area, which seems to be where a lot of the cases are coming from, is not fair to our Shawano school district.
Yeah. So we have been looking at that, at school district specific data. The concern that public health has with that is that if you're looking at a specific school district, there's a couple of things that could occur. You could have students that are maybe going to other schools because of open enrollment. The other thing is like, where are the parents working? So if parents are, maybe they live in Shawano, but they're working out west, does that make a difference? So we do have some of that available, and kind of more specifically to schools at this point. We're looking at ways that we can expand further, but I would encourage looking at countywide data. And another reason for that is because that's kind of where our tools are. So our ability to contact trace is going to be countywide. Our ability to have hospital capacity is going to be countywide or regional. And some of those other factors are going to be countywide versus school-based. We will be doing some type of monitoring with the schools to keep track of how many positive cases are within a school at the time. And, I don't know how much we'll be sharing, kind of out and about, but to make sure that schools are aware of where they're at for the current time, so.
Okay. Arlen Tober?
Yes, I was just wondering, you said there was 30-some new cases. How many of them were hospitalized?
I didn't look at the hospitalizations. I don't think we've had a lot of hospitalizations recently. I want to say, last time I checked, there were 16 hospitalizations for Shawano County. I don't believe there were any new ones. So, but I could be wrong on that. I didn't check that today.
Okay, is that it, Arlen? Aaron Damrell?
Vicki, what is the hospital capacity for Shawano County? How many beds do we have with the increased capacity?
Hospital capacity, so They have either regular working day hospital capacity, but they have built in a surge capacity with that. So their surge capacity, when we spoke with them, is about 3 times what they can take. So right now, they're going to keep operating under their usual and customary until there becomes a situation where there's maybe not enough hospital beds wherever they would send them otherwise, or if we're having some of those issues. So I think right now we're doing okay, and as far as regionally, we're still doing fine with hospital capacity, but as, if things were to increase, then we have ability to surge that as well.
So how many beds are we talking?
I want to say it's 20 to 25, somewhere around there, for the Shawano Hospital. I don't know specifically. I know it's like somewhere in that range, 20 to 25.
And then the surge capacity is,
About 3 times that.
and it's still in Shawano though?
Yeah.
It's not, okay.
Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you very much, Vicki.
All right, thank you.
And we will move on. In case there's some of you here that don't know, after our last meeting, then I had put it on the agenda one more time about allowing members to, I put it on the agenda for the executive committee one more time about allowing members to call in to the meetings. And the same results there is they turned it down big time. So Mr. Miller resigned. Dan Miller did. I run some ads on the paper, and out of that area, I actually got 4 candidates that would have been interested in it. One gentleman was from up in kind of the middle of Richmond, and I kind of shied away from him. He is actually in the district, but if he would have lived on the other side of the road, he wouldn't be in the district. And in the end, I picked Bonnie's husband, Dick Olson. I think it's good to have a self-employed businessman on the board, and I've worked with him in the past on private projects, and he seems to be a very level-headed individual, and I think he'll do a very good job. So with that, I guess you might as well come up front, Dick, and if there is a few words you would like to say, if not, we'll have the judge swear you in, and he can be on his way.
What do we have the oath for?
You need an oath, or?
Yes, I do. There we go. Let's do it right up in front.
Okay.
There we go.
I was gonna do it if you didn't show up, so.
Oh, that's quite all right. Let's do it so everyone can see. Raise your right hand. Please repeat after me. I, what's your name? Have been elected to the office of Shawano County Board Supervisor and swear I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Put your hand down. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dick.
The clerk has them sign it. The clerk has them sign the stuff, so thank you for coming. Yep.
Okay, along with that then, we need a motion and a second to approve the appointment of Dick. Motion by Jerry Erdman, seconded by Bill Swatala. Any discussion or comments? If not, you should vote that, Tony.
Yep.
Okay, if you are in favor, you would vote yes. If you're not in favor, vote no. Dennis, it didn't take yours yet. Okay, there we are, 26 yes, 0 no, so you are in, Dick. Welcome to the club. Okay, then we will move down. We got a young fella that's waiting here. Would you come up, Scott? And I'll let you run it. If you want Jack to come over there right in the front, or Jack and Mom if needed.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. So our office, we've got a number of different youth education programs that are offered through our state association. And so one of them is the youth poster contest. And so this was our second year participating in the youth poster contest. And the coordination of that effort, Mary George in our office takes care of that. And so I'm going to let her speak about the program and Jack's involvement, but I want to just say that, Jack, thank you for your efforts, your creativity, and Tammy, thanks for encouraging your kids to participate.
Good afternoon. In these trying times, we desperately need to look for the good in life to get by. And I would love to share a piece of good news with you. In 2019, Shawano County participated in our very first Land and Water Conservation Awareness Poster Contest. This contest is open to all students, grades K through 12, and are divided into 5 age divisions with a different conservation theme each year. This contest starts at the county level. The first place posters from each age division advance to the area contest, with those first place posters going on to state. The first place posters from the state contest advance to the national contest. This year, we had one poster go on to the state level. This student not only went to state in 2019, but entered again this year and went to state, but this time placing second place in the first grade age division. We are so proud of his efforts and would like to thank Jack Gorse for representing our county, our Shawano County, in such a positive way. Thank you, Jack. And thank you, Mom, for helping encourage your children to enter this contest every year. Thank you.
Okay. The last thing that I would have on the chairman's report is we have a new Chief Economic Development Officer for Skeppy, Peter Tillman, and I'd asked him to come and give us a short presentation of a little background of where he's from and what he's done in the past and kind of what Skeppy is going to be up to.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for having me here today. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to come sooner. The first day on the job was in March, and the 5th day on the job, we were in isolation. So it's not been out meeting a lot of people. I'm happy to be here, and I'd like to speak more about, if you want my background, I have almost 30 years of economic development experience. I've worked for the state of Wisconsin, what is now WEDC. It was the Department of Commerce. I've been the head of economic development for the city of Green Bay. I've spent almost 15 years in the technical college system developing training programs, and I've also worked in the Fox cities before coming here. And I really enjoy being here. When I came to Shawano, the work plan called for workforce development and workforce planning. That kind of got turned on its ear. You know, your unemployment went through the roof, unemployment throughout the country went through the roof, and we had to make some changes. One of the big things, and I want to thank this county board for having the foresight to partner with Bertrand Communications last fall, is when everything shut down, people had to work from home, students had to go to school from home, but you had the foresight to apply for that PSC grant to provide broadband internet to a large portion of the county through Bertram Communications. That is going to make a difference coming forward, as a lot of our county now has access to broadband through Bertram. So my first few months on the job, I was working with the schools. How do we get broadband out to the schools? And it's not quick and it's not easy, but you have great companies in Shawano with Bertram working along with Wittenberg Telephone. And they have been able to sit down with the school districts throughout Shawano County to try to determine where we need to get fiber put in. So as we speak now, Wittenberg Telephone is putting fiber through Bowler and all the way up through the Stockbridge Muncie Reservation. So they should be fully fibered by this fall. We wouldn't have known that unless we had asked. But it's important, and I think you took the leadership role for that with the PSC grant last year, and I think we'll be asking for more coming forward to more applications. On the bright side, because of the leadership of Shawano County, we are in the process of applying for an EDA grant for all of northeast Wisconsin, with us taking the lead to figure out where we have to put broadband in. I think one of the big questions that we've had is everybody complains about broadband, but sometimes a lot of people have it and they just are not aware. And it's now, let's put broadband where we need it and not duplicate services. So we've been working with ThedaCare, who's put in their USDA grant to expand broadband so that we can work together so that we're not all spending resources in the same way. The other thing I want to thank this board for is you had the foresight to apply for the PACE program. I don't know if you're aware, but Green Valley Dairy, just east of here, received one of the largest PACE awards in the history of PACE in the state of Wisconsin to put in a photovoltaic installation on their dairy farm. So that will run their biodigester. And it's a $3 million investment. So thank you for applying for that program. And Outagamie Clean Energy Partners is looking for medium-sized dairies to partner with to also do more of this work. Well, what have we been up to? Oh, the fun stuff. We went from looking for how we keep people here and training people, and now we have an opportunity to bring business and people to Shawano County. As this pandemic has indicated, many companies are reshoring and onshoring. Companies that are in urban areas are looking for more suburban and rural communities to come to. So we're in a good position to bring companies and businesses to Shawano County as a place to do business and manufacture and build stuff. In addition, we have a great opportunity with people. As the real estate market has indicated, you can't keep a house on the market in Shawano County. People are looking for a safe place to live where they can recreate and they can, you lived in Milwaukee and Chicago for the nightlife, for the theater, for that. Well, when they're closed, you don't have that anymore and you're cooped up in your 1,000 square feet. Here they can come out and you have 4 seasons of recreation. So we're going to be looking at working with developers. We did have some bad news a couple weeks ago with Maple Lane saying that they're closing their facility. But on the bright side, we have already met with the owners of Maple Lane. Brent and I had a good conversation with them out at the facility on their intentions, and we're introducing them to developers that hopefully we can redevelop that facility and build on it. And I would be remiss not to thank the county board for being supportive of SCEPI for all these years and moving forward. But I do realize that as an organization, we do need to get other opportunities for funding. So we will be continuing to look for funding opportunities and investors in the community for economic development, to build economic development and to build the community. My focus will be building on the tax base of Shawano County, because we need a growing tax base so we can continue to provide services for our constituents and make it a little bit easier to do budgets on a year-to-year basis. I'm willing to take any questions, so if you have any questions, feel free.
John Ainsworth.
Thank you. There's some construction going on south and east of Shawano. People have said it's high-speed internet. Are you aware of it? And if you are, what is it?
I'm not aware of that one. I do know that Spectrum has been doing a lot of work in the Gresham area. They don't actually notice to you unless you are unless you go and ask the people putting it in, because they don't have to let you know that they're putting it in. So part of our challenge is determining who has the services and who's providing the service. And we were hoping the PSC would help us a little bit more with that, and that's the angle we're going at with New North, to let us know who is where.
Thank you.
Okay. Aaron Damrell.
I'm new to the county board. Could you explain the relationship between your organization and the county, I guess? I don't really know very much.
This is a real interesting relationship, and I'm new to the organization since March. SCEPI is a partnership between the city and the county to do economic development within the county. The business plan that the strategic plan that they've put together, and they built a lot of this plan prior to me arriving, is very solid for economic development. It's keep your business, grow your business, and bring new business in. That's really the key. But what you've seen probably in the last 10 years was this focus that you can't bring in business without people to, if your business needs people, it can't grow unless you bring people in. So there's been a lot of work of building a pipeline through the high schools, and Dennis did a good job of working with the Wolf River Alliance on trying to create that pipeline. But we also need to bring people in, period, to help grow our businesses. Because despite what you're seeing on the unemployment numbers, there are companies that still need employees right now. On the bright side, and this is what always excited me about Shawano County, you have one of the highest populations that live and work in the county, yet you also export almost 40% of the workforce on a daily basis to another county. So if we can keep them in the county, we can grow businesses very easily. It's now getting the right employers and the right jobs in the county to keep everyone here. So that's kind of what it is, grow your economy. And in traditional economic development, it's three parts: business retention, expansion, and entrepreneurship. That's it.
So how are you funded through the county then?
We're funded through the county and the city, and then it used to be, before the Black Grant program closed, through the administration of the revolving loan fund.
Okay. Is that it, Aaron? Dennis Knack.
Are there any plans of getting broadband around Burnhamwood? It seems to be a hole. Now they're headed Bowler, Gresham, we're the western direction.
I am tomorrow meeting in Wittenberg, and Scott is running the meeting, so I'll ask him if there's any plans to expand. But I can find out. I believe Spectrum is there now. Don't quote me on it. But I will, I saw the map, and I know that Wittenberg Telephone does not, Serenity does not go up there right now. But if there's service, let me know, and we can do it either through the wireless from Bertram or through fiber optics. We can get that quoted in, see what it looks like.
Is that it, Dennis?
Yep.
Joe Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll keep it simple. Yes or no, is the Highway 29 Business Development Corridor still a priority you would be working on?
That's one of the priorities because, you have great access to markets from both the Fox Valley, Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, and Minneapolis. So yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I see no other questions, I guess. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, we already did number 7. Item number 8, Pam, reading of petitions, memorials, anything? Okay. Then we will move on to item number 9, ordinance number 4-20. Pam?
Adopting the Town of Waukesha Comprehensive Plan Amendment. Now therefore be it ordained by the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August 2020 that it approves the revised Town of Waukesha future land use map, changing one parcel of land from open lands and residential future land use category to the general commercial future land use category, and incorporate said map into the county comprehensive plan, submitted by the Planning, Development, and Zoning Committee.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Kathy Lubke, seconded by Gene Hoppy. Would you wish to comment, Steve, or do you want to defer to Carrie? Oh. Okay.
Okay, this ordinance is also connected with resolution number 3120. It was because of that this was updated for your plan, so.
So it's basically an update, not a lot of, no big changes or?
No, just to correspond with the zone change request
Okay,
for Mr. Kolovitz.
okay. Is there any other questions or comments? Well, we have a motion and a second. Then, if you are in favor, you would vote yes. If you are ready, Pam? I don't know how this is gonna work. Could somebody from TS, you gotta get, Dick's button working there now. Now that he's officially a member. There we are. 26 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. The motion has carried. Item number 11, resolution number 32-20. Pam?
31-20? 31?
Guess gotta get bifocals.
Resolution 31-20, approve a zone change for Tom D. Krulowitz. Now therefore be it resolved by the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August 2020 that it approves the zone change as follows. Tom D. Krulowitz requests zone change from open lands, agriculture, and residential zoning district to commercial general zoning district on a 6.59 acre parcel pursuant to the Shawano County zoning ordinance number 7-14 from section X2013 to section X4013. The property is located and described as the southeast quarter of northeast quarter north of County BE and northeast quarter fraction northeast quarter lying south of Old Highway 29, located in Section 2 in the town of Waukesha. Property address being W5361 Castle Road, submitted by the Planning, Development, and Zoning Committee.
Motion to approve. Motion by Kevin Conrad, seconded by John Ainsworth. You wish to comment again, Steve?
Yeah, this is he's attempting, going to plan on building a used car facility there and minor repairs on that land that's zoned OER, and it's next to another business on the north side of that road, so.
Okay.
And it was approved by the town's planning commission, so.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, we got a motion and a second to approve. If you are in favor, you would vote yes. No if you would be against. 26 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. Resolution is passed. Item number 11, Resolution 32-20. Pam?
Approve a zone change for Tim Roosh, Roosh Engineering and Surveying, agent for Jeffrey J. and Kelly V. Hauser, owners. Now therefore be resolved by the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August 2020 that it approves the zone change as follows. Tim Roosh, Roosh Engineering and Surveying, agent for Jeffrey J. and Kelly V. Hauser, owners, requests zone change from farmland and forest holding zoning district to agriculture residential on a proposed 5-acre parcel for the purpose of constructing a new single-family dwelling. The property is located and described as being located in the northwest quarter of Section 17, Township 26N, Range 12 East, being at a point on the south right-of-way of County Trunk Highway M, said point lying 380 feet more or less east of the west line of said northwest quarter, then east along said right-of-way 467 feet more or less, then south 467 feet more or less, then west 467 feet more or less, thence north 467 feet, more or less, to the point of beginning. Town of Fairbanks, currently vacant land, submitted by the Planning Development and Zoning Committee.
Motion to approve. Motion by Steve Geetz, seconded by Randy Young. Steve, once again?
This couple wants to build a hunting cabin on that portion of land that's zoned in farmland, and they want to go to OER so they can build a hunting cabin.
Okay. Any questions or comments? I see none. Then if you are in favor, you would vote yes. If not, you would vote no. Teresa? Wake me up when I get it figured out. Should we take a voice vote from Teresa and move on? Okay, we have a yes from Teresa, and Aaron abstained. So the resolution passed, 25 yes, 0 no, 1 abstain, 1 absent. Resolution number 33-20. Pam?
In support of applying for funding through the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Surface Water Grant Program. Now therefore be it resolved by the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August 2020 that Shawano County will meet the financial obligations to fully and satisfactorily complete the projects. The county conservationist is authorized to sign and submit a grant application to the WDNR and to enter into a grant agreement with approval of the Home Committee between Shawano County and the WDNR as necessary to receive grant funding. Be it further resolved that the county conservationist is authorized to submit to the WDNR quarterly and/or final reports to satisfy the grant agreement, signed documents, and reimbursement claims, along with supporting documentation no later than the date specified in the grant agreement, and take necessary action to undertake, direct, and complete the approved projects. Be it further resolved that Shawano County shall comply with all local, state, and federal laws, regulations, ordinances, and permit requirements pertaining to implementation of this project and fulfillment of grant document provisions submitted by the Land Conservation Committee.
Arlen, will you wish to speak, or do you want to have Scott come up?
Motion.
Oh, excuse me, wait, I'm getting out of line. Motion to approve first.
Oh, okay.
Motion by Aaron Damrow, seconded by Mark Bowen. Okay, go ahead, Arlen.
Yes, this is a grant, actually, it's just, if we don't pass this resolution, then we can't apply for grants even. But it comes from the DNR, and it's for lake monitoring and protection network. There is no matching funds connected with these grants. We just have to have in-kind, like paperwork and that stuff. But we have to pass this resolution in order for us to even apply for the grants.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. What's that? Oh, sorry, Dennis?
So what would be the county's financial obligation? It says that Shawano County will meet financial obligations.
That's the one question I did have. is the way it's worded in there that we have to meet the financial obligations. And is that strictly going to be, I don't know if you want Scott to answer it, if he would. Come on up, Scott.
Yeah, it's kind of, the way that it's worded, it's financially, it's not a actual cash financial match. It's in-kind services that our staff will be using to offset the county's portion of the grant.
Deb Nafke.
So what are the fulfillment of the grant document provisions? I mean, what are we signing on here? There was something we did at, I think it was Shepley, that prevented us from doing anything else because we'd taken DNR money once. There was one involving Maple Lane where the gal said, oh, now that also includes across the road because they'd given money on one side of the road. It was nuts. And then there was one on Cecil. Anytime they had money in it, then I think we even had a resolution passed to make sure that that didn't happen again, that we didn't give away unknowingly rights. I'm just wondering what the deliverables are here.
Yeah, essentially, Deb, what Arlen had mentioned before, the majority of this grant is for county staff to work with our lake organizations and individual, say, property owners or those interested in helping us with doing some monitoring on the lakes as far as taking dissolved oxygen measurements, taking temperature measurements, looking for invasive, doing survey work for potentially new aquatic invasive species, maybe monitoring for zebra mussels on lakes that we know that don't already have them. That type of work is what this grant is mostly about. So there isn't really any dollars that are going to be going to a property, so to speak. And then the second portion of the grant is there's opportunities to apply for funds in a number of different ways. The DNR revamped their surface water grant program, and so they've got actual planning components of it, and they've got implementation components. The second part of this is a planning component that we're looking at, and this is on a private landowner's property in the town of Washington, a project that was installed about 40 years ago for sediment control, soil erosion control, and capture of that sediment before it goes into a lake. And so we're looking at evaluating that current system to see if it's still functioning adequately or not. So that's the other portion of this. It's the planning portion. Does that help, Deb? Okay.
Would it, my question would be, is in the second line in the first no therefore, where it says Shawano County will meet the financial obligations. Is there anything wrong with just taking financial out of there, Tony?
The only thing wrong with it is this is their boilerplate, and they asked that we put it in if we want the money.
Okay.
So I'm not concerned about this. Scott, you'll tell me if I'm wrong, but they've never asked for any cash. They've never asked for restrictions on any property owned by the county. This is one of those board chair that I think is extremely low risk. It's always worked out well, and they give us money to help with the lakes and things, as Scott has said. So we did put in with approval of the home committee. So, the resolution that Deb had mentioned requires home committees to review it to make sure that there aren't any inappropriate restrictions on it. So we do have that safeguard there.
Okay. And this would be just for applying for the grants, and the home committee would still have to approve the grant if it was awarded?
Correct, if it's awarded, correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Dennis?
So then the in-kind, you budget for that, right? Whatever in-kind services you have to supply.
And this is an annual grant. They changed it now a little bit where, and I mentioned that the two components, that first component is a non-competitive component, which in the past, it was competitive and it was either a 1 or a 3-year period. Now that first component for the lake monitoring and protection is non-competitive and annually.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, if you are in favor then of Resolution 3320, vote yes. If you are not, you would vote no. Gene? He's coming. Okay, 26 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. The resolution is passed. Item number 13, resolution number 3420. Pam?
To approve Shawano County Jail and Work Release Improvement Projects. Now therefore be it resolved by the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August 2020 that the County of Shawano Board of Supervisors approves the following projects. 1, the Shawano County Jail repiping project at a cost of up to $13,500 as further described above. 2, the Shawano County Jail window replacement project at a cost of up to $12,000 as further described above. And 3, the Shawano County Work Release Center parking lot, sidewalk and ramp repair and replacement project at a cost of up to $112,000 as further described above. Be it further resolved that the funds necessary for each of these projects be paid for from the Inmate Welfare Fund, submitted by the Public Safety and Capital Improvement Projects Committee.
Motion to approve. Motion by Teresa Serrano, seconded by Richard Furfecki. Any questions or comments? Basically, this is just moving the money from KIP and leaving the KIP money in the KIP program and using the work release funds to pay for it instead. Randy?
Can you refresh my memory of what the work release funds are?
That's the profit, if I remember right, that's the profit that they make when any of the inmates buy like a candy bar or a can of pop or
Okay,
anything like that, correct?
okay.
And it can only be used for things on the jail improvements or that would benefit the inmates.
How much money is in there total?
Just over 384,000. So
Right.
they'd have about half of it left after this was done.
Thank you. It's a lot of candy bars.
Yes, it is. But then we gotta pay for the dentist. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, then if you are in favor of Resolution 3420, you would vote yes. If you are not, you would vote no. 26 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. The resolution is passed. Moving right along, resolution number 35-20.
To approve the lease agreement for the Milky Arts Center. Now therefore be it resolved by the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August 2020 that they approve the attached extended Milky Arts Center amended lease agreement submitted by the Public Property Committee.
Motion to approve. Motion by Milt Marquardt, seconded by Gene Hoppy. Public property, would you like to comment, Jerry, or? Oh, yeah, if I'll let you, huh? Okay.
I get my mask off, I can speak too. Yeah, this is just, the Milky Theater is part of our property, and we basically have to take care of it anyway, but this is just agreeing to the lease. Granted, I think revenue is probably down this year with the COVID cases, but in the past, I think the group has been rather good to the county. They're good to work with, so I would certainly like to see this board pass this lease agreement.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I guess we're ready to vote then. If you are in favor, you would vote yes. If not, you would vote no. Twenty-six yes, 0 no, 1 absent. Resolution is passed. Item number 15. Resolution number 36-20.
To authorize a transfer of $7,000 to the State Bureau of Aeronautics Shawano Airport Reserve Account. Now therefore be it resolved by the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August, 2020, that it authorizes the transfer of an Airport KIP 2020 budget appropriation of $7,000 to the State Bureau of Aeronautics Shawano Airport Reserve Account to be held there for funding the local share of airport projects, submitted by the Executive Committee.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Deb Nafke, second by Gene Hoppy. Any questions or comments? This is basically, for the new members, we passed this, I don't know, about 4 years ago, somewhere thereabouts, to where when the airport does a project, we pay a portion in for the project, and we decided back then that it's easier if we just kept putting $7,000 every year into that fund, then we never have to come up with a bigger chunk of money at once for a project, and it's there and the state has it, and we're all good to go. Gene?
Doesn't the city pay a portion of this?
Yes. Nita?
So, yeah, the city pays $7,000 as well, but what happens is when we pay this in, we're only paying a certain percentage. So the state and federal spend a lot more money than what we're putting in to do these projects. So we're just have a small little minute portion of those projects. So money well spent.
Hey, Gene?
Yeah, thank you.
Jerry?
Yeah, I'm gonna just comment on what Nita said too. Yeah, the county chips in 2.5%, the city chips in 2.5%. We have the 5%. FAA, feds chip in the rest, but we are currently looking at a project that would be a runway expansion. So basically, we have to have, I believe it's 100,000. And then the feds will pick up the remaining if it's $1 million or whatever. So, yeah, this is something we've been doing for years. It's good. We wish to get the airport expanded because obviously it's bringing industry here. So it's, for economic purposes, it's good to do this.
Okay. Deb Nafke.
I'm going to touch on the same thing as the crew that we have that's trying to figure out what they can do with this money is pretty slick about trying to leverage it and maximize the dollar-for-dollar return. And we end up with a very small percentage that are actual tax dollars for what we get in return. They're very good at and very diligent about trying to dog and leverage those dollars.
Yes, they are. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, then if you are in favor of Resolution 3620, you would vote yes. If not, you would vote no. 26 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. Resolution has passed. We're really on a roll today. It must be our newest member. Got everything straightened out for us. Item number 16, Resolution 37-20, to approve a resolution in support of fair redistricting.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Shawano County Board of Supervisors in session this 26th day of August 2020 hereby requests that the state legislature, before the start of the next redistricting process, follow the 2020 federal census, pass legislation that creates fair, nonpartisan procedure for the preparation of legislative and congressional redistricting plans, and be it further resolved that the county clerk is directed to send a copy of this resolution to the governor of the state of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Counties Association, the Wisconsin Towns Association, and the state legislature, submitted by the executive committee.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Joe Miller, seconded by Kimberly Leffel. Okay. You would like to speak on this, Jan? Okay. Jan Cook had brought this to me, and she was looking for a referendum, but I kind of shot that down because of the cost that it would take. And we can pass it and send it along, but I don't think these do a whole lot for us, really.
All right, I have a little history here. I came to the board 3 years ago to talk
Name and
about
address,
this.
Jan? Name and address, please.
Oh, yes, Jan Cook, N5776 Fayette Road, Shawano. You said to wait to make a decision on the redistricting until closer to the census. Well, we're at that point now. Last week, the resolution was passed unanimously by the executive committee, and I thank them for their support. Our Marquette poll has showed 72% of Wisconsinites wanted fair maps drawn. Now, 53 counties have passed resolutions like yours asking for a fair, nonpartisan procedure for the preparation of legislative and congressional redistricting plans. 16 counties have passed referendums where people voted on the issue. 8 counties have referendums on the ballot in November. According to the resolution which was passed in the committee, the redistricting process is, quote, in the best interest of Wisconsin's democracy and its citizens. Also in your proposal, redistricting by the majority party lacks the transparency necessary to reinforce citizens' faith in the democratic process. This is good to have, as this is a part of the resolution. Policies that the majority of the people want may go nowhere when districts are gerrymandered. Your resolution states, there is a critical need at this time to restore trust, compromise, and fair competition in Wisconsin politics. I think you all agree with that. And my supporters here and I hope that you will pass this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or comments on the resolution? John Ainsworth.
Thank you. It sounds good and it's a good idea, but basically, practically, there is no such thing as a nonpartisan commission. Everybody who is appointed will be appointed by, and in reaction, I guess, to their participation in other government affairs, they all have a history. It'll be a good sounding resolution that will end up about the same as it is now.
Well, that's usually what happens. If the Democrats are in power, they gerrymander their way, and if Republicans are, they twist it their way. But it don't really hurt to send it along. Any other questions or comments? Marvin Klosterman.
Thank you. My question is, does this affect the districting in Shawano County?
No. We don't have no census numbers or anything till early next year, so we have no idea even yet, Marvin, if anything is going to change as far as the districts we have. The first thing, Dave was after me a couple months ago to start the process, but there's really not much we can start until we have the numbers. So, John again?
Yes, one thing we should remember, as far as the legislative districts, there will not be big changes in rural areas. There are restrictions on how you do it, how you keep communities whole, how you keep municipalities whole, how you keep Native American entities whole. Changes that will possibly be made would be in the heavily concentrated population areas. Milwaukee, Madison, Kenosha.
That's where they would get the most benefit.
It's a little easier to gerrymander, but there are restrictions you have to follow. Easily definable borders, such as maybe a river, a state highway, a community, municipality borders. There's already a lot of restrictions, but in a heavily populated areas is where you would probably, if there is any, you'd see this sort of activity.
Okay. Deb Nafke.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to echo that this sounds like a good idea, but I remember on a local level, when we had to do the redistricting for the county board, and the amount of work that I saw, oh my God, I felt so bad for Dave Poffenberger. He put in, it took on a life of its own. I mean, he tried, they didn't want to split up a voting municipality. They wanted to make it easy for the poll workers. And it's kind of like, oh, why change it? Well, you had to because the population had changed, and unfortunately not in the same manner everywhere. And it sounds like, make it fair, but if you're going by population, I don't know how you do, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work than people realize.
The population is part of it, that's the biggest part, but then you still have the consideration of trying to keep towns in one piece.
Yep.
If you got existing wards, to try and keep them
Yep, and
in
to not
one
make it
piece and
hard on
not
a,
break them all up anymore.
I know they didn't want to take like a township or a municipality and have those residents having to run over to the next township to vote. I mean, they
Yeah.
tried to keep them consistent, and it wasn't as easy as a task. And I think I said way back when, like 10 years ago, kudos to Dave for the amount of work he put into it. And I have a feeling if I'm still here when we do it again, it'll be the same comment.
Yeah. But I believe a lot like John said though, is when you get into the big cities, that's where they get the most effect, where they can shift small areas back and forth. I'm used to it all the time up in Animal. We get bounced one way or the other wherever they need another couple hundred people. Joe Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question, correct me if I'm wrong, Shawano County is currently divided into 3 assembly districts?
We actually have 4. There's that one in, we have a portion of the city of Marion. So we have the 6th.
State assembly districts.
Assembly, we have the 6th, the 35th, 36th, and 40th.
So 4?
4.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. Aaron Damerl.
I think that fair maps is a great idea. The law, our democracy, I mean, we don't have enough contested elections. And, I mean, we don't have enough people people are elected in and there aren't a contrast of ideas. And in Madison, it is not, they're not working. They're not working in Madison. They're not working in Washington. Seats are too safe for these legislators, and I think that the first step to actually restoring democracy is to have elections where people aren't just have a safe seat and they can do whatever they want regardless of what the electorate want in their district. And we have a dysfunctional government on the state and federal level right now, and I mean, this sitting back and saying that we need to keep doing what we're doing, it isn't working. So I think that we need to try something new, and I think that this is a good resolution to put forward to the state. I do want to note that all of our surrounding counties, except for Menominee County, apparently has passed a resolution or referendum related to fair maps. So, thank you.
Right, it doesn't hurt anything in any way or affect us really one way or the other. It's just an advisory, basically referendum to send to the state, to hope they would slow up on the gerrymandering, but that's still going to be their fight. So is there any other comments or questions? Okay, seeing none then, if you are in favor, I got to log in and start all over. If you are in favor, you would vote yes. If you are not, you would vote no on 3720. Okay, 22 yes, 4 no, 1 absent, so the resolution has passed. Okay, item number 17, annual reports. We have the one for the Land Conservation Department and the Veteran Service Office. As usual, we'll just place them on file. If anybody has any questions or comments, they could contact Scott or Nick with that. So we will move on. Do we normally do these all at once, Pam? The June payroll and all them?
Yeah, just the general accounts, the payroll's included in this.
Okay. Next item then is 18, report on Finance Committee and General Accounts and Claims. Remember, we have 2 months. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Aaron Dano, seconded by Kevin Conrad. Any questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, then if you are in favor of paying general accounts for June and July, you would vote yes. If not, you would vote no. I started to reconnect as soon as we got that far, and I got nothing now. A blank screen. It's been trying to reconnect about every 2 minutes.
Do you want to vote yes? Do you want me just to mark?
No, there, mine came through now. Okay, 24 yes, 1 abstain, 2 absent. We lost someone. Oh, okay. I thought you didn't want to get paid, maybe. Okay. Then we have, what, 24?
25, because Steve wasn't in there, and then 1 absent.
Yeah, 25 yes, 1 abstain, 1 absent. Okay. Number 19, approval of committee minutes. As presented, is there a motion? Motion by Teresa, seconded by Terry Tipton. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I believe we can do this by acclamation then. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 20. With having a new member on the county board, I shuffled a few committees around. Dick would like to work a fair amount yet and not be too heavily involved in the board. So he was happy with just the airport committee. And I believe we have to do these one at a time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. They're not even listening over there.
Sorry?
That's okay. We got it figured out.
Okay.
So, if you are in favor of Dick Olson, motion to approve, motion by Gene Hoppy, seconded by Devin Creason? Creason. Okay, I'll get it. Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, then if you are in favor of appointing Dick, I believe this takes actual vote. Acclamation we can. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Then along with that, that left open an opening on the executive committee. And for that, I chose Kathy Lubke. She had been on there before, not because she's just a woman, Joel, no. I don't pick nothing that way. But I think she'd be a good member on the committee. When she was in the library changeover, she ran that, and she did a very nice job. So I think she'll be a good addition to the committee. And I hope the other ones that aren't there or didn't get picked, well, I'm sorry, can't put everybody in one spot. So with that, we have a motion. Motion by John Ainsworth, seconded by Milt Marquardt. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Kathy's going to abstain, okay? You are it. And we have to appoint Dr. Jasmine Wiley to the Board of Health as a medical advisor to fill the vacancy left due to the retirement of Dr. Kevin Culhane. Term to expire in April of 2023. Motion by Steve Geetz, seconded by Randy Young. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And we have to reappoint Marcia Hafes to the Nicolay Federated Library System. I believe she was the one that was recommended by the library board, Milt? Oh, okay.
Yes, it did.
It actu-
It was actually at the end of December.
At the end of December is when it actually expired, and nobody got around to sending it forward, and Pam was the one that caught it. But along with everything else getting messed up. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, we did have a motion and a second, correct?
No.
Motion by Deb, second by Milt Marquardt. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 21, board member comments for new business to be considered. Do we have any? Okay. I see none. We will move on to the 22, claim report of County Board Supervisors, mileage and per diem. I got your name wrote down already, Kathy.
Total amount paid today for mileage and per diem with 26 members present, $2,375.51.
Is there a motion approved by Kathy Lupke, seconded by Gene Hoppy? Is there any questions or comments? Okay, and this we have to vote on. You are in favor then of paying the per diems, vote yes. If not, vote no. Here we go. 26 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. And last thing is the next meeting date is September 23rd, 2020. And we will put on there for the new members, there's always a county board picture taken. We might as well take it, we usually do it out on the steps of the courthouse. We might as well do it before it gets to be winter. Because in October, you can get a lot of cold rain and not too good weather, so. If you want to dress a little differently, that's up to you. Please no T-shirts with anything really too weird on them. And, or political, yeah. Try and keep things appropriate, put it that way. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Joe Miller, seconded by Teresa Serrano. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.